Everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome. These are one of my favorite videos to film because I get to do a full face of Chantecaille and talk about a sale that they are having, and they are currently having their Black Friday Cyber Monday sale, and early access starts today using my code, which I will have up on the screen. So I will have those dates listed down below so you don't forget. I always love coming up with full face looks, and you'll see as we go along. The eyes, I just kind of had to figure out as I went because I've never done this eye look before, but I always love how it ends up. So if you want to see how I get this full face and get my, well, some of my recommendations, just some, because I recommend so much for the Chantecaille sale, then let's get started. All right, I have all of my Chantecaille stuff. Let's jump in. I really need to do something about these under eyes, and that's gonna start with the corrector pen. I really do like this in the shade 3. For me, this is not near enough coverage by itself. It is definitely a more sheer to light coverage concealer. If you are someone who does not have a lot of discoloration under their eyes, this will be plenty. But because it has that nice like peach undertone, at least this shade does, it works good to start to correct my under eyes in preparation for concealer. Now, I have also used this as a concealer if I choose to take whatever foundation I'm using first up under my eyes. For instance, if I'm using the Cushion foundation, I have in the past taken that up under my eyes first, and that has provided me with a good base. Then I will go in with this, and I find that's enough coverage. And because both of those products are so lightweight, they wear really well under the eyes. No creasing, cracking. I mean, Chantecaille base products, we all know how I feel about them, and I love them under the eyes as well. I have tried every foundation they have under the eyes, and it works great. I don't know yet what foundation I want to use, but I do want to start out by mixing these two face tints. I am hoping all of these things are in stock. I know a lot of times I do these videos and people seem to get upset with me because things aren't in stock, but I can't really control that. I'm hoping that they have a good amount of stock. I'm just showing you what I love. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the rose face tint and the bronze face tint, mix those together on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna start out with that on the skin. I have worn this by itself before, these two tints, and it's been enough. It just kind of depends on what level of coverage my face needs. And I am gonna be using the foundation powder today, so I will be getting more coverage from that as well. And when I use something like that, I like to make sure my base isn't full coverage or even medium coverage because I just don't need it. See how pretty that is by itself? You don't need a lot of product for either one of them. Honestly, my redness is looking pretty good today, so I don't think I need any more coverage. I'm just gonna take a brush and kind of stipple over it, make sure there's no splotches anywhere because I'm known to miss those, and I don't want to set that down. I've definitely done that in the past where I've used a powder and set a splotch down and it's there to stay. I don't think I need anything else. I got my Cushion foundation out to think, oh, maybe I might need to put some, you know, on my cheeks. I don't think I do, especially once I use the powder. For concealer, Future Skin Gel Foundation. I use the shade Vanilla. I feel like every time I talk about this, I have to say, yes, it is still my favorite concealer. Now, I will say the Sicily comes in at a very close second, but this one is just so good. I think it was this video 2 years ago. It was either this video or the Sylvie sale in July 2 years ago that I tried this as a concealer for the first time. See, I can take a little bit of that down too if I want more coverage. And ever since that day, I have been hooked because there is nothing else that wears as good as this product does underneath the eyes. And again, it's not even with those two products together a solid like medium coverage, but I'm okay. I say it all the time. I will say it again. Sometimes, well, most of the time nowadays, I'm fine with sacrificing coverage to make sure the wear is a little bit better. I'm gonna use the Radiance Gel Bronzer. I was really hoping this holiday collection, they would have come out with a powder bronzer. I miss their old powder bronzers. I mean, I still have them, but I miss that everybody can get them. So I know they can make an awesome formula. I'm just waiting for it to be launched again. So until then, I just use this. This is more pigmented than the bronze face tint as far as me still being able to see it better when I blend it out, but it still blends out very sheer. So I kind of like to go in layers. I'll blend one layer out and then I'll go in and kind of stipple the second layer on top. I find that just gives me more color. And it is radiant, but you know it's in the name. So we're not gonna be surprised that it does give a radiant finish. I am still going to set my T-zone with my Fit Glow powder. If I'm doing a full face of any brand, I still do this. It's just what my face needs. Then I'm gonna use the Compact Makeup. So this is their powder foundation. I have Bamboo and I have Camel. Clearly Bamboo is lighter than Camel. I am gonna use Camel today for a couple of reasons. I am self-tanned, but also because this bronzer is not overly pigmented. I find using a little bit of a deeper foundation or powder helps give that bronze look without needing to use a pigmented bronzer, if that makes sense. I'm really just gonna use that where I didn't use the Fit Glow, and I'm gonna be light around the areas that I use the bronzer because I don't wanna cover it up completely. This is great by itself. It definitely provides the coverage that you would expect from a powder foundation, but it's also not too much applying it on something else. But again, I'm only applying it on the face tints. So I love the combination of those together because it's never too much coverage and it really does look like skin. I'm gonna highlight with the Cheek Light Illuminator from the holiday collection. I did a whole video on these and I just checked as of the day I'm filming this video, it is still available. And I like, if I'm using like a powder blush, I like to use the highlight first and put the blush on top to give a more like lit from within glow. And this is definitely lit. This is a glow. I'm gonna use the Emotion blush, which is the B. I just have a refill. This is the only one that I just have a refill of. And even though this is more of like a peachy shade, I may go over it with a pink. My lip is gonna be a little bit pink, but this is so like neutral peachy that it works. I love these powder blushes. They are very forgiving in the shade, meaning you can build them up. They're not gonna be too super pigmented, but even the lightest shade I can see on my cheeks. I did a video of like understated makeup at the beginning of this year and I think I used Bliss in that video, which looking at it in the pan, you would think that's not gonna show up on my skin, but it does and it's so pretty. I feel like this side of my forehead, the bronzer is looking a little patchy. I don't know if that's coming across on camera. At the end, I may have to use a powder bronzer on top of my forehead. Let's talk eyes. I'm doing something I've never done before on the eyes just because I thought, oh, that'd be pretty. I'm gonna use one of the cream blushes. This is one of the newer shades that launched this year, I believe. This is in the shade Thrill. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and see how it looks on the lid. I think it's really gonna need to be built up. These tend to sheer out even more than the original shades. Yeah, that's not really showing up on my eye. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. This is just me showing you how I work through looks that I haven't done yet because I want the texture to match. Shows up a little bit more as I stipple it in, but I'm still gonna top it. I'm gonna actually take another one of the powder blushes. This is probably my favorite color out of all of them, tied with Joy. This is Laughter. I just stipple it on top of that Thrill blush. So what that did was it kind of gave it something to adhere to, but it definitely didn't show up as much as I wanted. And then I'm just gonna take this all the way up into the crease as a wash of color. And then I'm gonna put some kind of shimmer on top of it. This is one of my favorite techniques to do. Lay down a matte shade all over your lid, up into your crease, pop a little bit of shimmer on your lid, smoke out some liner, and you're good to go. I brought out two, actually three, and I'm gonna show you all three of them, and I don't know which one I'm gonna use yet. The cream shadow in Cremant, which is a luminous rose. I used the brown one in the video I did on these. So that's that shade. The Cheetah shade in the luminescent eyeshadows, which is a very luminescent champagne. So that's Cheetah, that's Cremant. And then the mermaid eye shades in Seashell. Just similar to Cheetah, but it's a little more neutral and not as bright. So Seashell, Cheetah, and then Grwm. The Cheetah also has more like glitter sparkle particles in it, whereas the Seashell is just a sheen. I don't know. Let's just figure it out as we go. I'm going to start with the liquid shadow. Put it in the middle of the lid and then just tap it in. It's very subtle on top of that blush, but still pretty. So we might use one of the other ones after we do liner. I pulled out 2 of the liners. Jasper is my absolute favorite. It's just a very pretty brown shade. And then Violet Damask is a very deep purple shade. So the violet is on the top, Jasper is on the bottom. I feel like I always use Jasper, so let's use violet. I rarely will use an eyeliner without smoking it out. And I like that these give you the ability to do that because there is some playtime with them. So before they have a chance to dry down, I like to just go and take like a very stiff synthetic brush and smoke them out. I just personally on me don't like a very distinct liner, and especially for a softer look, which this is, I think softening the liner like this matches a little bit more. And then I'm just gonna take just a little bit on the outer corner underneath my eye and then blend that in. This look would have been fine without something on the lower lash line. I really like to finish something out by using at least something that I used on the upper part of my eye, and I just felt like this would be good. Again, just figuring it out as I go. I like that. Now, the thing I was talking about earlier is I am gonna use, I think, a little bit of Cheetah to give a little bit more brightness, but in the inner corner of my eye, tad on the lid. So see, I'm just kind of bringing it a little bit on the lid, a little bit under the eye, kind of matching up where that liner stopped. And then whatever's left on the brush, I'll just put just a little bit right underneath the arch of the brow. I likely do not have to preface mascara, the Faux Cils Longest Lash. I highly recommend getting this during a sale because it is a very hefty price tag for a mascara. However, I can assure you that when I use this consistently, my lashes do look better, longer, stronger, healthier. There is just something about this formula that loves my lashes, and my lashes loves it. And for lips, they launched their lip creams this year. I have used those in a couple of videos and I do really like them. They are more matte, so I put a gloss on top, but I honestly, except for the lip veils, I typically put a gloss on top of all the Chantecaille lip products anyways, because that's a preference of mine. But today I'm going to use the Lip Chic in the shade Camellia, which is just a very nude, happy pink shade. Out of all of the Lip Chics, this one's my favorite shade. And even though it does have a sheen to it and it does feel moisturizing, I'm going to use a little bit of the gloss in Love on top. So looking just to finish up, I am going to use one of their old bronzers just to kind of fix what I'm seeing as not looking right on my forehead, just like that. And then I thought, you know what? I love a sheen. Let's give a little bit more. And I'm going to use the Holiday Blush, the Radiant Blush, as kind of a topper because this is very sheer. It doesn't have a ton of pigment, but I love topping whatever blush I have to just give even more sheen to my cheeks, especially this time of year. I just feel like it's festive. And I've been doing that a lot with this blush. This and the Chanel Holiday Blush, I've been using those as blush toppers almost every day, and I love it. And this is why I love Chantecaille so much, because even though I was literally flying by the seat of my pants to get this eye look, I still love how it turns out. Every single time I do a full face of Chantecaille, I love how it turns out. I highly recommend them as a brand. They are in my top 5 favorite brands of all time for makeup, but I especially highly recommend them when you can get 25% off. Oh, and I'm gonna finish off with some rose water spray. Love the base so much. I just love this look. So again, don't forget about my code. I will have that listed and linked with all the dates as a reminder in the description box. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video, and I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.